streaming cyberspace into your place. From Irwindale Speedway, it's the Virtual Grip Network's Late Model Invitational Series as your round number 6. Let's pull back the curtain here on the Virtual Grip Network as your lead commentator had a beautiful script written and he cannot find it. So we're going to wing this one off the top of my head. You know, when the season started, J.R. Shepard wasn't here, and Mike Holloway got the win, picking up 40 points. And when Shepard showed up for round number 2, he was 40 points behind the leader in the points. Well, it's been 4 races since J.R. returned, and he's won every one, and he's cut that lead in half, down to 20. Jeffrey Harden sits atop the points, and he can see the lead slowly slipping away. But before Shepard can get to Harden, he's got to get around Todd Liston, who has still not shown up yet for tonight's event. It's going to be a good one. We are on Irwindale. They should put on a good show here. If you're interested in the drama, that's going to be round number 6. 5 before, 5 after tonight. We are dead set right in the middle. Well, then you've come to the right place. Pull the lever on the lazy boy and settle in for the simulated short track racing action that's about to stream your way. Hello, everyone. A Golden State warm hello and welcome on this. I don't know the date. I think it's May 4th. That's right. May the 4th be with you on this one. It is my partner, Ricky Harden the Wall, joining yours truly, Bill Soups on, high up in the VGN broadcast booth. Bring you our bird's eye view. If I can't do this part by memory, then something's wrong with me. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders. Well, it is Ryan Senator. Well, I got through it. Let's quickly see if I can find the rest of my script while I turn it over to my partner here. Now, Ricky, I've done some research for this race. Here's what I know. We're going to Irwindale, so I researched about Bitcoin, right?
I don't think that's the right type of progressive banking.
Oh.
We have a lot going on here at Irwindale Speedway. Very flat on the bottom and a little bit of banking up at the top. That's what we call the progressive banking. It makes the top line very dominant here at Irwindale Speedway, and more so in these late model stock cars than just about any car on the iRacing service. This car tends to be a little bit tighter, and it makes it really hard to make passes on the bottom. You'll see a lot of dirt track style moves where a guy will throw it in the corner and just try to slide job the guy behind him if he can get enough momentum to make that happen. But boy, it's really, really hard to do in these cars. You're able to carry just enough speed on the top to make good defense. But I'll tell you what, that's going to make it hard to come through the field for a guy like J.R. Shepard, who's got to start deep in the field tonight.
So I continue to search my computer files for my script. I can tell you this much as I multitask. Tonight's broadcast is made possible thanks to the generosity of our viewers. And with that said, we'd like to thank all you guys for doing what you do to allow us to bring this race to you every day. Last chance to see if I found my script. No, that's still talking about last week and horseshoes being an important part of the issue. So I'll just go through the points right now. If we can bring those up, let's see if I can just rough them out here for you. I know some stuff because I've done the research. Jeffrey Harden, well, he sits up there in front, but he had his worst result last time out. It was a 9th at Kern. Todd Liston also had his worst time last time at Kern. It was an 11th, and even worse news for Liston, he has yet to make an appearance here. J.R. Shepard, he's on a 4-race win streak. He is a-coming, and I can know this for you from memory. He's raced here 7 times before at Irwindale. He's won 3 of them. I don't know if that's good news or bad news for the rest of the field. And I can't go any farther because I actually don't know what the points are because we have to wait for them to come over as we cross over into the new session. So I will continue to fill here as we wait for the next things to come up. I can tell you this much, that we have a nice field of 21 drivers here tonight. There you go. John Wilson, well, he's up a position. Double Deuce Bruce Pearson, he had a horrible time. You know, Double Deuce is good, but he got dealt an ace and a face card last time. 21 is great when you're in Vegas, but not when you're trying to post a race result. Joe Snyder has not been very good of late. Joe, how about the other Joe Segala? He was our spotlighted driver, and he came in 8th. beating the over-under and making my partner, Ricky, a little bit poorer in the process. Michael Goodman and Mike Holloway. Hey, Mike Holloway has the win in the opening round, and then there's Tom Hilbert rounding out the overlay. Okay, Soup's ad lib is done. Let's go to the grid right now. Sitting on pole, well, it is the man who sits 10th in points. It's Tom Hilbert. It's going to be inside a newcomer. He's fast. Scott Negus.
Start on row 2. It's going to be Steve Hilbert to the inside with Joseph Snyder to his outside.
Brother, right behind each other. Let's go to the next one. Jeffrey Harden. He's our points leader. Going to be starting in 5th. Joe Zagala outside of him.
Then it's the Canadian John Wilson on the bottom underneath the caveman. Trey Bloom to his outside in 8th.
He's our spotlighter driver. More on him in a minute. Brendan Myers in 9th. Mike Holloway in 10th.
Kenny Kibbe and J.R. Shepard roll off 11th and 12th. That's the row to watch.
Matt Shinowski hits the Baker's Douglas spot with Adam Shane in 14th.
15th will be Austin Belkey with Donnie Moore in 16th.
Bruce Pearson, Lowell Jewell, 17th and 18th.
And starting 19th, Ruben Altiz, Matt Hoos 20th, and in the blackjack spot, rounding out the field, Chris Hazlip in the 93 car.
Our spotlighted driver, Ricky, over under 8.5 for Trey Bloom. What say you?
Well, I like that he's starting inside the top 8, so I'm going to take the under on him. I need to make some money back after last week.
You did indeed. All right, well, we got through it. Thanks for putting up with us here. Let's turn our attention to car number 61. That is Tom Hilbert. He'll be in control of the field. The perfectly mesmerizing Josie Kirkland brings the pace car in as she does every week here on the Virtual Grip Network. And we're ready to go racing. Round number 6, dead smack in the middle. 5 before tonight, 5 after tonight. Chuckle, makes you want to holler. Hi-ho, Hilbert with a great start. The battle is for second. His brother's going to follow him through. It's Hilbert and Hilbert racing 1 and 2. They are side by side behind him. That's the 29 on the... Oh,
Hilbert,
they get together.
To the outside. The 39 of Joseph Snyder goes around. Snyder's backwards in the back straightaway wall. Hilbert was able to gather it up, but Snyder got some contact from the back, and he ended up being the one that paid the price for that incident. He had to check up behind Negus and the 52 of Hilbert as well. Here's a replay of it. Here you're going to see Snyder's just riding along, minding his own business. He gets on the brakes, and Segala just doesn't see what's happening. Piles into the back of him. Segala also hard into the outside wall. You see Adam Shane go around as well, but I don't think Adam got any contact.
And you heard it there, a little bit of a Freudian slip there from my partner, as the first words he thought of when he saw that pile up was J.R. Shepard. And once again, Ricky, somehow the 98 manages to just not be involved in one that happens in front of him.
Yeah, that was just good avoidance on his part. And, these top-tier drivers, you'll have that. They know where to put their car. They know, they can feel the force around him. It's May 4th, right? So may the 4th be with you. And he sort of has this force field around that car. He can feel where all these other cars are. He just put it in the right spot and made a really great move, honestly. I can't chalk it up to a golden horseshoe shoved into an orifice on this one. I'm going to say he did a great job.
Lights are still on the pace car. I think we have time. Who you want to talk to, partner? Should we look around there? I've lost my buddy. He was looking probably for someone to talk to.
Yeah, sorry about that. Why don't we talk to Steve Hilbert, see how that car feels after the incident that we saw right there. Steve running up inside the top 3. We see it. We saw the incident that happened with you, Steve. It's Ricky Arden in the booth. How's the car doing? You think it's going to be okay?
I'm not real sure. I mean, I got damage, obviously, but seems like it'll be okay, but we'll see.
Well, for a brief minute, it was Hilbert and Hilbert out front. I'll let you out here. The lights are off the pace car. It was fun for a while to see you guys racing up front.
All right, thanks, Sue.
All right. They're on the back straight.
Yeah, and they still dominate the inside line, the Hilberts do, in the 61 and the 52 machine. I'll tell you what, the inside lane is going to be a tough place to be. On the restarts, you might be able to make something happen, but you're going to want to try to get to that top as soon as possible. Here we go.
Jeffrey Harden sits to the outside, separating the 2 Hilberts. Good jump from Tom. Harden is going to remain up on top because that's where he wants to be. The Chief having a hard time getting going. He's stuck on the inside, rolling the top. Around him is the 25 of Brendan Myers. Myers is notorious for racing under the radar. It's great to see him up front so early. He could make some news here tonight. Look at the top side roll. That's your race one winner, Mike Holloway, rolling around as Hilbert just cannot find his place to go. We're talking about Steve. Tom out in front the whole time. The 98 now rolling around the top side of Steve Hilbert. Also Kenny Kibbe. We got 3 wide. Okay, Kibbe dives down low, and Kibbe decides to get out of there.
Yeah, early on in the run, you might be able to make something happen on the bottom lane, but just nothing happening for Kibbe. He realized there's not as much grip as he hoped down there and backed out of it. But let's see if he tries it again down here in turn number 3. Looking to the bottom of Hilbert. He's going to dive it down in there. He doesn't go quite as low this time. He pulls even with Hilbert, but Hilbert's going to get a good run coming up off of turn 4 right here. And stays side by side, though. With that, I think Kibbe can really make some hay if he's got a nose out in front of him coming off 2, which he does. So going on to turn number 3, this is going to be pretty simple. You just dive it in a little harder and then slide up in front of the 52 coming off the 4.
You can see on the tower while we're watching the action in the back, Jeffrey Harden, your points leader, has managed to get out to the front. So now the battle is a little farther back for second. This is Scott Negus. Negus is an interesting character. He's only has made a handful of late model starts so far, but the 29, from what we've seen, Ricky, has been quick. He just hasn't quite figured out how to get the finish that he really deserves.
Yeah, it's about putting a whole race together, and Negus has been there, and I've seen him up front toward the end of races, but he tends to burn his right front off a little bit faster than a couple of the guys that tend to finish inside the top 3, so that's what I see out of him. And being right on the bottom lane down here, looking for a way around the 61 of Hilbert is a way to burn that right front off and heat it up a little more than you want to at this particular track. Irwindale's a track that you really got to get in that top lane to save the tire. He gets a good run off at turn number 4. He might be able to dive it into 1 and get up into that lane, but it doesn't even look like he's eyeing the lane. He's just trying to drive down there low.
Yeah, there was an opening unless he was being very kind to Tom Hilbert on the top side. You know, you would think maybe Negus might want to give up the ghost here and just surrender the spot, but he really can't because they are lined up behind him. By the time he was tucked in, it'd be a while back. Now, here's somebody trying the inside, and this is Holloway. Thinks, oh boy, the car really drifts up, almost got in to Myers there.
Yeah, Holloway looking at that inside because I think they're just so stacked up on the outside lane. He thought that might be a place to go, but look at this. He's got Negus right in front of him, and there's nowhere to go with the 29 machine clogging the inside lane. But, man, this is so hard to do after a few laps. You see it now. Scott Negus keeps drifting up the track a little bit. I think he's really heated up the right front tire right now, and it makes it hard to hold that bottom lane. He's got Holloway all over the back end of him. Holloway's going to be able to turn a little bit better. He hasn't been down there quite as long. Very tight between Hilbert and the 29 of Negus. They just about make contact through turns 1 and 2. They get away unscathed, but it's going to be Hilbert looking out a little bit in front of Negus. Hilbert gets some contact from Brendan Myers, and also Holloway gets hooked, goes into the wall. J.R. Shepard involved. Everybody behind there involved. We've got a major stack up coming out of turn number 4. A lot of contact for a lot of guys right there. Mike Holloway took a huge hit to the outside wall.
It happened up front. Holloway was just about to get clear, and then he got tagged and turned into the wall.
Yeah, big damage on Kenny Kibbe, on Austin Belke, on the 75. Look at all this. This is just carnage. You see a little bump from Brendan Myers. Brendan gets out of the throttle and gets a little bit more contact from J.R. Shepard. J.R. gets away unscathed yet again, but it's a lot of damage for a lot of the other cars involved in this.
Shepard was back there behind the whole thing. He gets on the binders. Watch, as we'll see, watch the outside line there. There you can see the 98, third car in line on the outside. Gets a little bit of the light blue machine, but then just managed to scoot around the top, tiptoe up around the top. And when it's all said and done, the 18-time champion will be lining up in 3rd position.
Well, if they allow live betting on the race, if you haven't put your bets on J.R. Shepard yet, it's going to be awfully hard to beat him after the way he's come through these wrecks. I think we should talk to the boss man, Lowell Jewell. He also kind of weaved his way through that incident. He just about brought the car to a stop. Lowell's Ricky Harden up in the booth. We saw you weaving through that incident. Looks like you bounced off a couple of guys, ping-ponging around. But the car looks okay. How you feeling?
Okay. I think they bounced off of me, though. I was the only one that slowed down.
Lowell, which line working, top or bottom?
Well, the bottom was working great, if you can call that the bottom. it was working great there for a little bit. I don't think I want to be down there very long.
Working for a little bit. That seems to be the story everyone's telling. All right, we'll keep an eye on you. Good job.
Thank you.
He took a little bit of damage to the left front fender there, but I don't think it's going to affect the car. Like he said, it was other guys being ping-ponged into him. He did check up very sufficiently for that incident. Also worth noting, our spotlighted driver, Trey Bloom, he got involved in that first incident and unfortunately was forced to the pit road with a meatball flag, a spicy meatball. That means you have to go in and get some damage repaired before they let you back out on the track. And he returned 13 laps down dead last. So not looking good for my wallet again today.
Really the kiss of death. Although some attrition could get him up there, as he only needs about 13 or 14 drivers to have trouble. All right, we are working lap number 22 as they roll across the start-finish line right now. So it should be important to talk big picture. Jeffrey Harden, well, he sits in first. That's about all you can hope for, I guess. But J.R. Shepard is back in third, so Harden would pick up 3 points. He just needs to finish close to Shepard if he could.
Yeah, we talked about the magic number a little bit last week. Last week it was 4 points. Now it's dropped to 3 because he had a really bad night last week. He needs to finish within 3 spots of J.R. Shepard every week from here on out. In front of him, even better. But here we go, coming to the green. Let's see how long he can hold him off.
Let's watch what the 29 can do as well, as he's on that outside line. All right, we get going. A slow start from Ningus, and Shepard is going to move his way up into second. So there you have it. Liston is not here tonight, so basically you have Harden, your point leader, being chased by the man who's trying to run him down, J.R. Shepard. They race 1 and 2. Ningus drops into third. Car number 70, Ruben Altice, is up 15 spots. A nice run from the 70 and being attacked now by Lowell Jewell.
Yes, incredible game there for Ruben, weaving his way through those incidents and putting himself in a really good spot, 15 spots. And Lowell Jewell himself up 13 spots, but look at this battle for second. Negus goes to the bottom. He's trying to make it happen under J.R. Shepard. Early in the run, you can make that bottom lane work until you overheat the right front tire, and that's where it gets really difficult, is it's easy to push on that right front a little bit too much. He's got a little bit of a gap here to fall in line behind Shepard if he wants it, but he's going to keep digging on the bottom.
We have finished 25 laps, now working on lap number 26. And I'll bet you half of them, if not more, Scott Negus has raced on, well, that, what Lowell Jewell would call the inside line, that middle line at least. He now decides better of it. Let's look back at the 79. This is Adam Shane on the back of Lowell Jewell. Battle for 5th spot.
Yeah, and Adam got a little bit of contact on that restart. I believe it was from the 39 car, who's dropped off of his back bumper now, but Adam trying to make something happen underneath Lowell Jewell here. He's working that inside lane as well. And anything under that dotted hash mark that you see there, we're going to call that the inside lane, because you cannot run under that for very long. You will overheat the right front tire. But when you try to make the bottom lane work, that's where you're running, is right along that line.
So the top 6 cars run nose to tail right now. I want to drop you back to a guy that is sneaky fast, and it is Matt Hoos. Hoos is up 11 spots. Keep an eye on him. He's racing behind 2 guys. That is Joe Snyder and Matt Shanowski. If he can get around them, then he's next up would be the front train.
Yeah, and Matt Hoos's car looks really good. Caution is out. We've got an incident coming off of turn number 4. It's Brennan Myers sitting backwards at the exit of turn number 4. And this is going to be one of those dirt track slide job moves. Watch this right here. Myers sends it into turn number 3, slides up, and he parks it in front of Hilbert. It really leaves Hilbert nowhere to go and gets turned around. That is a very risky move to make, and Myers tried his luck and didn't work out.
The idea on the slide job is try to maintain a little momentum, right?
Yeah, you don't want to park it, and that is what I would call parking it.
Oh, that was tough for Steve Hilbert on that one. He's been involved in some incidents, started 3rd, racing well down the order now in 16 spots. So we pick up another yellow. Trey Bloom has worked his way up now into 20th as he works around Joe Segala. Joe's called it a night.
Hey, why don't we talk to Ruben Altice, who's moved his way all the way into 4th, 15 spots gained. That's just an impressive number to look at this early in the race, a third of the way through here. Ruben, it's Ricky Harden in the booth. You've moved up 15 spots since the start of this race. How have you made up that much ground?
Some of it just making it through wrecks, and car's doing pretty good so far if I can keep the tires on.
Do you think you got anything? I know the name J.R. Shepherd is hard to think about getting in front of him, but incidents can happen. Got visions of winning this thing, maybe?
Hey, I'm gonna give it all I got. I doubt if I win it, but I'm gonna give it all I got, man.
Tell us a little bit more. I love the sponsor. Tell me a little bit more about, is it Chevrolet Electric?
Chevrolet Electric, that's a local guy I know that's got several locations, been in business since the 70s.
And where is the location? Where are you hailing from?
He has one in Rocky Mount, Martinsville, Roanoke. I can't even remember where all his locations are.
All right. Well, if you're watching and you need yourself a new plug located somewhere there because your wife wants to put the couch on the wall that doesn't have a plug, Shively Electric. All right, go get him, buddy.
Thank you.
Ruben has that distinct South Boston, Virginia accent. Sounds just like Warburton. I'd mistake him if I didn't know better.
Yeah, not a lot of electricity coming out of the vocal cords there of Ruben Altice. That's fun to hear. All right, your big mover out there is Ruben Altice, up those 15 spots. Some of it vultured on attrition. I'm sure he got a few on the track.
And restarting on that top lane, that's where you want to be. On the restarts, you can make the bottom lane work for a couple of laps. The car really likes to rotate a little bit better when the tires cool off. But we'll see how well they can handle it if you get stuck on the inside more than 2 or 3 laps. It hasn't looked good so far.
Well, last time Shepherd got the best of Negus when Negus was starting on the outside and Shepherd was in the inside of row 2. Well, the roles are reversed this time. Let's see if the 29 can return the favor. There's the jump. Harden gets it. Shepherd with another good jump. Negus does not get going. In fact, not only does he not have a shot on the 98, he's in jeopardy of moving a spot to Ruben Altice, who's rolling the top side. The 70 continues to roll. Don't forget about Negus, though. He's not scared to dive it down in there. Talking about diving it down in there. J.R. Shepherd puts the right side tires below the white line. They come off. He's going to make a run at it. Not going to happen. Is he going to... Whoa! The car gets really loose. No, that's just Shepherd rotating the car. Took my breath away.
Yeah, he actually slid it all the way through turns 1 and 2 right there. He was dead sideways, but that is how you have to make that inside work if you're going to make it work. He tried it, and that's when you got to do it, is right there on the restarts, and it didn't work for him, so he slots back in line behind Jeffrey Harden. We've got a little bit of battling going on further back here with 79 of Adam Shane. He was trying to look to the bottom of Ruben Altice, but now he's dropping back into the clutches of Lowell Jewell. But here we go for the lead again. It's J.R. Shepherd looking to the bottom of Jeffrey Harden. He wants to make this thing happen before those tires get too hot. You just can't make the bottom work after too long. I think here in a lap or two, you're going to see him not giving Jeffrey a lot of room.
I think Jeffrey's okay with this. And again, look what Shepherd is doing. He drifts up. This time Shepherd gets credit with leading the lap. Soup, maybe I'm not okay with it. As now Shepherd is up there and he closes the door. A little dipsy-do, a little hokey-doke, a little up and under. Let's see now, but now Harden is on the inside line where he'll burn up his stuff.
Yeah, this is what Shepherd was hoping was going to happen. He wanted to do that slide job successfully, and he did it. He got up in front of Jeffrey, and now Jeffrey's going to have to work hard to try to get back under him, and it's not going to happen. J.R. Shepherd cleared to the lead on lap 40.
As they come down under you. There we go. We're looking at that side-by-side battle a little bit farther back. The car up on top, the blue machine. That is Matt Shanowski. Shane stuck low.
Really good job by Shanowski, too. That car looks really clean. He's avoided some of these incidents. He's already up 7 spots into the 6th position. Shane was trying to pass Ruben Altice earlier, and you can see he got passed by Altice, Lowell Jewell, and Matt Shanowski before he finally gets back in line on the top in that 79 machine. Now it's Kenny Kibbe on the bottom underneath Donnie Moore. Kibbe trying to make something happen. He's going to try to squeeze in the line in front of Moore, but there's really not a hole there. So he's going to have to leave the top open, and he's going to have to continue running the bottom lane. Let's see what happens down here in 3 and 4. Kibbe working with a lot of damage on that car, and finally he does squeeze his way in the line. Really not a lot of room, but he made it happen, didn't he?
Kibbe would have been a threat to run with JR. He has the chops to do it, and he actually had a preferred starting spot on the grid, then got into some problems. The car is damaged. Now he's got to work his way through the field. If he gets up there, it'll be a tall order to see if he has anything for the 18-time champion. The leader of this little 4-car train, though, is Lowell Jewell, and Kibby's had about enough of that as now he goes underneath again, willing to burn up a little tires to pick up some spots. He gets around Shane. He's going to have to make it a threefer, though, as he's got to get around Shinowski and then Lowell Jewell before he's able to tuck back up onto the preferred upper line.
And Kibby's running more of a traditional bottom lane here at Irwindale. Or Irwindale, you typically don't. You saw what J.R. Shepard was doing. We went all the way down to the very bottom down there. That's hard to do. That's a Hail Mary move, and you have to clear the guy to come up in front of him. Kibby is just staying tight to those guys on the top lane. And that's typically what you do to try to make a pass, because you're not giving the guy on the outside a lot of room for error or a lot of room to come down and get good turn. And, man, he comes up in front of Adam Shane. Adam gets into the back of him a couple of times going into turn number 3, but they get away, no harm, no foul, and Kibby back in the line. I don't think Adam likes that Kibby slotted up there with not a lot of room.
Adam just giving him a little extra momentum there, a little bump drafting going on, and now Holloway thinks he's going to take a shot. I'm sorry, Shinowski thinks he's going to take a shot as he gets underneath Lowell Jewell as well.
I think everybody
racing
in this line feels like they're being held up.
Racing a new livery out there, huh, Ricky?
Yeah, all right.
Wait on the car.
It looks like just about every late model stock you see when somebody purchases it. About no logos on it and runs around. I think everybody feels like Lowell's holding up this line. That's why Shinowski jumped to the inside right there. But you just see how hard it is to work the inside lane with Shinowski down there. He's clearly faster than Lowell, but he can't make anything happen. Now Kibby on his outside. Kibby's going to try to complete this pass, and then we'll see if he tries to jump to the inside of Lowell.
You're not missing anything up top. You can see the tower that they still race. Shepard, Harden, Ningus, and Altice, they're beginning to pull away a bit. This is where the action is. I think if Kibby can get around, well, he's really kind of boxed in right now with the 31 of Shinowski below him. If he can clear Shinowski, then maybe the 14 can go underneath Lowell Jewell, get up to that front train, and then maybe have something to say about the issue.
Yeah, he gets good runs here off of turn number 2. He's clear of Shinowski. Let's see if he tries to take a stab. He's not going to be able to do it because Shinowski dives in really hard into turn number 3. But Kibby with a huge run off of turn number 4. He's got a run looking at Lowell Jewell. He's going to stay in line with him, though, going through turns 1 and 2. Gets a good run off of turn 2. He's to the inside of Lowell Jewell. Let's see what he does down to 3. Is he going to throw it down in the corner and try to slide job? Yes, he is. He throws it down. He pulls up in front of Lowell Jewell and parks it in the center of the corner. Lowell going to try the crossover move. He goes to the inside of Kibby. Now Kibby's got to dive real hard right here. They're going to make a little door-to-door contact right here. They both get away. It's great racing between these two down here in turns 1 and 2.
That is the same move that Shepard put on Harden. Getting that preferred position, then pinning Harden on the inside where he didn't want to be. Shepard was able to get it done, as does Kibby. And now Kibby sits 5th. Behind, the only thing separating him between the front 4 is open space. So let's see if he can run him down. Boy, you know, Ricky, we watched Kibby just play that like a chess piece, just waiting for the track to open. As soon as he got around Shinowski, then the door was open. He got underneath Lowell Jewell, and now he started to run him down.
Yeah, and he did it the way you have to do it. When you get that run and you set the guy up, you've got to clear him the first time, because if you don't, you're going to heat the tires up so bad that you just never have any grip to make anything happen on the inside. You just got to get yourself back in the line. And that's, you know, when you saw Lowell Jewell try to come back at him, he had to make that move right then or he was going to be in trouble. He gets back in line behind Adam Shane, and everybody kind of figures it out. Got my eye on a guy a couple spots back from there, and that's Matt Hoos. Oh, a little bit of trouble behind that. Matt Shinowski goes into the outside wall. He keeps it going straight. We're not going to have a caution, but he loses a bunch of positions. He got a little sideways there in turn 4. It looks like he got maybe a little contact from Joseph Snyder. But everybody gets away and stays green. But I've been watching Matt Hoos. Matt Hoos is on the back of this train that we were watching earlier. He's looking to the bottom of Donnie Moore now. Donnie wanting to get around Lowell Jewell. Here goes Hoos all the way to the bottom right here. He's going to try to do a 2-for-1.
You know, we've talked about Hoos and this coming. Unfortunately, since the outside line, the pass can be made on the inside, and Hoos is going to try to do it. But you pay such a price in terms of rubber when you do it down there. You almost wonder if it's... You may get the pass done, but you may not have anything left to hold it.
Exactly. It's really about the heat. When you build the heat up in this rubber, you cannot make anything happen for a little while. You've got to just sit back in line, and that's what Hoos is doing now. He kind of fell behind those guys, and he's just going to have to wait. You really can't do a 2-for-1 move, I think, at this point in the race. We're 61 laps in. Ooh, a little bit of shot there from Donnie Moore to the back of Lowell Jewell. Lowell pulls over. He's getting out of the way of these guys. I think he just wants to make it to the finish. And Donnie Moore is going to take that position, and Matt Hoos going to follow through as well.
You have to wonder the way that we're seeing some of the cars really fall off a cliff. Now, do the tires just get hot and they'll come back, or are they gone forever, Ricky?
Yeah, in the late model stock, you don't get much back. They really heat up, and they use a lot of wear. Like last night we saw in the SK Modifieds, a little bit different. What happens in those things is they heat up, but as soon as they cool off, they're back to just as good as they were before. We see Bruce Pearson down here on the bottom of Matt Shnosky. He was trying to make a pass on Chris Hazlett down there, but not able to get it done quite yet. And he's been down in the bottom lane now for a couple of laps. And what do you do when you're down there? You just burn a lot of your rubber off, and it makes it harder and harder and harder to make anything happen the longer you run.
Got to be so frustrating, because it's not only do you think maybe you might get the pass done, but it's also probably fun to race down there side by side. It's fun to race next to somebody, and but he has to give it up. I want to go on board with car number 14, Kenny Kibbe. We try to paint the picture for you. We try to do some crystal ball commentating and tell you what's going to happen. Well, Ricky, we talked about him running down the front four. He's there.
Yeah, and he was a long way back. That gap that he closed was about half a straightaway or more, and he's right on the back end of the 70 of Ruben Altiz now, and all 5 of these guys are nose to tail. As soon as J.R. Shepard got in the lead, he kind of held these guys back and just saved his tires. That way he could fend off any type of move that comes. I mean, you can set whatever pace you want when you're the leader here at this track, because if a guy tries to make a move to your inside, that's when you can turn up the wick. You don't have to do anything until then.
I just don't think Kibbe can do this on his own, getting one car at a time. Altice, Negas, Harden, and then Shepard. I think he's going to need a little help from the guys to mix it up in front and maybe give him a chance to steal a position or something to happen. But right now, I think they've all read the memo, and there's 4 cars racing in a straight line.
Yeah, it looks like a Halloween festivities going on here with these 3 orange cars back to back to back. Kibbe looking to the inside of Ruben Altiz, but I think you're right. He needs something to happen. He needs one of these guys to make a mistake. He does have a gap here in front of Ruben Altiz, so if he can get under him, he might be able to slide up in front of him if he can complete the pass.
Looking at lap number 70 with 30 to go. You can do the math. Quickly, put the camera on car number 32, Trey Bloom. He continues to try to pay off the under. He's the 18th now, only 12 laps down. That's enough of Trey.
Lowell Jewell pulls off the track. Lowell Jewell's going to the pit road. He has burned the right front entirely off the car, so I think he's just given up the ghost now. So that might be one more spot for Trey Bloom here with 12 laps down, 30 to go. He's got a little bit of time.
There you go. Closing in. And I think that's what all the guys up front, Shepard, Harden, Negas, Altiz, Kibbe, are all worried about. Remember, Shepard had to work kind of hard to get up there. He started in 12th position, so he had to work his way up. Negas.
Yeah, they got lap traffic that they got to deal with here in just a moment. Austin Belke in that battered machine, he will not be an issue. Austin Belke's been around long enough. I think he'll just pull to the apron and let all these guys go. But, yeah, you see the 14 of Kibbe still trying to make the bottom work underneath of 70 of Altiz. Hasn't been able to do anything these last couple laps, though.
Oh, you got it. There are 3 orange cars in a row. Negas, Altiz, and Kibbe. Kibbe right now trying to say trick or treat on Ruben Altiz. They are side by side. Boy, the 14 has had to do this so many times. Does he have another one in him?
Yeah, and he's been running that middle lane now here for a while as Austin Belke pulls out of the way of all these guys coming. He's all the way down to the bottom of the track. Kibbe, he really tries to squeeze these guys into the outside lane, but, man, he just can't get a good run. I think he's run too many laps in that lane to make anything happen at this point.
Tip of the hat there to Belke, who's a veteran driver, knows that the place to get out of the way here at Irwindale is indeed down low.
Yeah, if you're a lap machine and you run in the outside lane here, it's going to spell disaster because it's so hard to pass on the bottom, even when, you know, a guy is way off the pace because of damage. that it will really cause havoc if somebody doesn't get out of the way. Negus is really struggling with this car at this point in the run. Every time he comes off the corners, he's having to get out of the throttle. I think Altiz is looking for a way past while Kibbe is hounding him.
Real quick, I want to drop you back to car number 39. This is Joe Snyder racing against the inverse of his number 93. They bumped together. That is Chris Haslip. Haslip's having a nice run. He is up 10 spots. Would like to make it one more as he races with the Butcher of Baton Rouge. Coming out of 4, that's Snyder on the outside, Haslip on the inside. In the popcorn position, double deuce, Bruce Pearson.
And back up here with Kibbe and the 70 of Altiz. They're side by side. Kibbe's the furthest up he's been all race long on Altiz. He's got 3/4 of the pass done coming off of turn number 4. He can really sail it down into turn 1 and get up in lane if he wants to. Let's see if he's going to do it. He's got just enough of a gap. He's going to squeeze in line in front of Altiz, move the 14 up into P4. Looking at Scott Negus next, but he is running out of time. 20 laps to go as they come to the line this time.
If I could get in the helmet of Kenny Kibbe, I would say nice job on Altiz. I would say Negus probably doesn't have a lot left on that one as he's raced really hard these first 81 laps. Kibbe beginning to really struggle a bit as he now dives. Look, I actually think Kibbe might have backed off to get some momentum.
Yeah, look at Matt, who's right here looking to the inside of Donnie Moore, trying to make something happen. Adam Shane struggling up in front of them a little bit, and I think that's given Matt Hoos a little bit more of a run. So trying to make it happen, but man, inside is just so tough. I don't know how you can make 2 cars get behind you when you're down on the bottom.
Action everywhere. So we look at who's working on Donnie Moore on the inside. And again, like he talked about, he's got more to worry about. He's got to get more, but then he's got to hope he can find a spot to tuck up in behind Adam Shane. There is a little bit of a gap there for the Hoosinators. If they can find a spot in between those 2 cars.
He's got to do what Kibbe did earlier. And speaking of Kibbe, he's looking to the inside of Negus right here, going down to the turn 1. They're side by side on the back straightaway. But man, Negus gets a really good run off of turn 2 and clears Kibbe. You're right. Kibbe backed up the corner a couple laps ago, and he really took a big look at Negus. Negus really high right there in the center of 3 and 4. And that's going to give Kibbe a little bit of a run coming off of turn 4. He sends it down into turn 1. Still not able to make anything happen. He's got to be careful here because Ruben Altiz is going to try to fill this hole on the top side and get that spot back.
Watching back there, the 3rd orange car in line. They're coming at you. It's a pumpkin show.
Kibbe takes a really high entry that time, and he's going to get a run off of turn number 2. He's going to take a look at Negus right here, but he backs off into 3. He also takes that really high arc. This is where you get a really good run right here. Negus dove it in too hard, and Kibbe got a great run. He's already in front of him going down into turn number 1. He's going to clear him in the middle of 1 and 2. He comes up in front of Negus. He checks up quite a bit. Negus has to get out of the gas, and Ruben Altiz goes to the inside.
Let's see how much Altiz has left. Nothing, as he cannot make that low line work. Kenny Kibbe has really been the star of the show so far as he's worked his way up to 3rd. Big picture time. As you think about it there, as we have another car pulling off on the inside, that is Trey Bloom just getting out of the way. Trey's worked his way up into, how far it's got up there, the 16th spot. He's coming. Big picture, Ricky. Shepard's going to win. That's going to be 5 in a row. But if Jeffrey Harden can finish right behind him, that's what he needs to do, and that's what he's doing.
Absolutely. This is a win for Jeffrey Harden if he can finish in 2nd tonight, and that's what it looks like he's going to do. A lot of these guys coming up on more lap traffic. Tom Hilbert is up in the top lane right here as Negus and Ruben Altiz approach. Ruben Altiz is going to try to use Hilbert as a pick. He comes up into sorry, that's the 29 of Negus, and that's going to give Adam Shane and the 26 of Donnie Moore a big run. Negus going to lose a bunch of spots right here. Here goes Matt Hoos looking to the inside, trying to make something happen as well as they come to 10 laps to go.
Yeah, you hate to be that commentator that says, I told you so, but really, the way that Negus was running early on, you could just know that he was going to pay a price later, and now he's paying it. Same price.
This is what I was talking about earlier. There's a lap car in the way, and he's going to cause an incident with Donnie Moore. I was talking about that earlier. If the lap car stays in the top lane, Tom Hilbert did that. It really can shake up what you're seeing out there in that outside lane. Donnie Moore had to pull it off track, and no caution for all of that, but big incident for Donnie as he was having a great run until then.
Not Not sure why that didn't get a caution, as the 26 looped it around and didn't hit anything, I guess, and that was enough to keep going as we're close to the end. Maybe hitting one of the shadows there that the race stewards couldn't see it.
Yeah, also Steve Hilbert also running in that top lane right here, but now they're not all packed up because of that incident that happened right there. So kind of spread everybody out. It got Matt Hoos up into the 6th position. He weaved his way through that incident and picked up a lot of ground. And now you see the 31 of Shinosky looking under the lap car of Hilbert, all the way up by the wall. He makes it happen on Scott Negus as well, moves into the 7th spot. Negus just trying to stop the bleeding. He's ready for this race to come to an end as we come back to 5 laps to go.
Put on a nice show while he raced up front. You see your top 3, Altice and Shane, round out your top 5. Matt Hoos, we watched him climb his way through. Gets all the way up to 6th, up 14 spots.
Yeah, and the top 2 have a massive gap over the rest of the field. J.R. Shepard with about a full straightaway lead over Jeffrey Harden. Jeffrey with another half straightaway over the 3rd place car of Kenny Kibbe. They are coming down to the closing stages of this race. It's going to be J.R. Shepard, Jeffrey Harden, and Kenny Kibbe in the top 3. The closest battle we have on track really is all the way back where Negus is, but honestly, all the guys behind him are laps down, so I don't think there's any battles for position outside of maybe who's catching up to Adam Shane.
Looking at this one right now, that's the double deuce, the yellow car of Bruce Pearson with Chris Hazlick on the outside. Remember Hazlick, when we last checked on him, he was in that battle with Joseph Snyder. He got the best of. Now these guys are putting on a nice show back here as they battle to get inside the top 10. All this going on behind J.R. Shepard, who comes out of quarter number 4. He's going to be looking at the white flag this time around. Pearson and Hazlitt get that settled down. White flag for J.R. Shepard. He missed the opening round. He won round number 2. He won round number 3. He won round number 4. You get where I'm going here? He won round number 5 as he comes out quarter number 4. He gets a win round number 6. Go, Ricky.
Trouble a little bit further back. Adam Shane and Matt Hoos made contact. Adam Shane was able to keep it straight, but Hoos is under fire from the 31 of Matt Shinosky, and Hoos is going to fend off Matt Shinosky for the finish right there. They're going to finish 5th, 6th, and 7th between the 3 of those. Some really good racing on the last lap between those guys, but what a show by J.R. Shepard. He ran away and dominated this event.
He did indeed, but then the subplot is Jeffrey Harden, your points leader, able to finish 2nd. All right, 11 cars finished on the lead lap of the 21 that took the grid. The racing is over. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break. We'll come back and run down the finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Don't go far. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. Welcome back to Irwindale and the Virtual Grip Network's 6th round coverage of the Bootleg Racing League's Late Model Invitational Series, round number 6. The results are in. Let's give them to you now. J.R. Shepard started in 12th, managed to avoid the chaos that was in front of him, worked his way to the front, and was able to lead the last 62 laps. Jeffrey Harden had a taste of the lead for 32 laps He did not get the win, but he finishes a point behind the man who is chasing him. If he keeps that up, Jeffrey Harden looking at his second late model championship. Kenny Kibbe put on the show. He was really the highlight of the race. Went from 11th to 3rd, but he did it a couple times to do it. That was fun to watch. And another orange car was Ruben Altice. He goes 19th to 4th. A great run through the field for him. Adam Shane rounds out your top 5 as he came from 14th. Matt Hoos, we watched him. We documented it, 20-6. A nice run. The Hoosenators got to be happy. Matt Shanowski also put on a nice show as he comes home in 7th. Scott Negus raced up front and was really exciting and then paid the price at the end. He'll have to settle for 8th. Still inside the top 10. Bruce Pearson in the double deuce. He comes home in 9th. Has he got the best of Chris Haslip in that little battle there at the end of the race? Ricky?
Finishing in 11th, it was Joseph Snyder. He was the last car in the lead lap, right in front of J.R. Shepherd as they crossed the line. John Wilson finishes 1 lap down in 12th. Steve Hilbert in 13th. Donnie Moore falls back to 15th after the late incident that we saw with Tom Hilbert, who ends up in 15th and will be starting on the pole next week. Trey Bloom, it was the over for him. He finishes in the 16th spot after the early incident. He was just trying to come back from that all race long. Austin Belkey, also with tons of damage, ends up 17th. Lowell Jewell had to pull it off the track 18th. Brendan Myers 19th. Mike Holloway 20th. And Joe Segala rounds out the field 92 laps down.
Just to do a little symmetry for you, our pole sitter tonight was Tom Hilbert, and he finished in 15th, so he's going to do it again next week. All right, let's go ahead and talk one more time. It's been 5 in a row. The first interview here in the late model series is J.R. Shepherd. He does it again. This one was a little tougher. He had some problems in front of him. He got a little bit of contact in one of those big ones.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that was going to be one that would completely take me out. I saw the contact ahead of me, and I was hard on the brakes and wasn't sure really where to go. But like I said last week, a lot of luck has to come into play, and a hole just opened up. Otherwise, that very well could have ended the night.
The pass for the lead was fun to watch. You were working on the inside. You got the inside pass made, but you were lost momentum. Jeffrey was able to get back underneath you, and then he was in that position.
Yeah, it's something that I didn't try much in practice. I was really just trying to do some race runs and see what the tire life was going to be like at this track. And I tried a couple of things on Jeffrey there, seeing if it would work, and things weren't working as well as what I thought they would. But yeah, I found a way to clear him in turn 3 and 4. Lost a lot of momentum, but it's a lot harder to run that bottom through 1 and 2. So I thought I'd be okay, and yeah, it just it worked out that way. But racing with Jeffrey was extremely fun. He's extremely fast and ran a super clean race. It's good to see him up there.
You talk about trying some new things. I'll be honest with you. You took my breath away on one of the restarts where you were taking the car down so low, and I really thought it was coming around. You were dirt tracking it, at least what it looked like to me. Did it feel that way in the car?
A little bit, and I was okay with that because this place tends to wear the right front out a little bit, so I'm trying to heat up that right rear some, and actually saved a lot more tire than what I anticipated, so I wish I was kind of running that aggressive line a little bit earlier just to get better handling on the car. But yeah, I always seem to take a different path here when we come to Irwindale than what the other drivers do, so yeah, it's just something that I like doing. If you follow everybody, you're just going to end up following them. So I try to search around and find that extra grip.
All right, 5 in a row. Let's see if you can make a 6 next week. Good job.
Thanks, Soup. And big shout out also to Kenny. He got involved in that wreck and was able to come back and finish 3rd tonight. So it's good to see him do that. Just want to thank the Bootleg Racing League for giving us a place to come out and run. My team, Different Paths Motorsports, and of course you guys, everything that you're doing for us up in the Virtual Grip Network booth, guys. We really appreciate it.
Always fun to watch a race. J.R. Shepherd, 5 in a row. It's fun to watch excellence. With that said, we're going to let my partner Ricky talk to Jeffrey Hart.
Hey, Jeffrey ended up in P2 tonight. Stopped the bleeding after a poor effort last week. Tell us about your race.
Yeah. Last week was kind of disappointing, but this week seemed a whole lot better. At least I got one decent performance in California. I saw a lot of chaos behind me. A lot was up front starting tonight.
What did you think about the move that J.R. Shepherd put to get the lead there in the middle of that race?
Well, I was expecting it. but it seemed like he stalled out once he got up in front of me, and I went down low, and it wasn't there in the first turn. I tried it again. It's like, well, I felt like I needed to get back in line instead of trying to burn up my tires. I figured second was better than getting freight trained right there.
Does second place feel like a win when you're trying J.R. Shepherd back there in the points?
Yeah, I'm trying to stay tight on him like a pair of Spanx. I mean, if he finishes first, I need to finish second.
That's great. I love that. Well, I'll let you know the magic number from here on out is 3.8. So if you finish within 3 spots of J.R. Shepherd in these last 5 races, he can't beat you. It doesn't matter what he does. So keep that in mind as you go forward. Good job. Anybody you want to shout out or give thanks to tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Brandy, my granddaughter, Venice, here watching the race, everybody in the league, JR for being so clean and respectful, you guys up in the booth, and everybody out there watching.
Wait, I got to drill down on this one. Granddaughter's name is Venice? Is that what I heard?
Yes, Venice. We call her Vinny.
Oh, what a great name. Oh, well, how old is she?
She just turned 7 last week and last Saturday. That's why I was a little distracted.
Hi, sweetheart. Granddad did good tonight. He didn't win, but he finished the second, and if he keeps that up, Granddad's going to have a championship. Well done, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Soup.
Vinny watching on. Tip of the hat to Vinny. All right, I get to talk to the man who put on the show. It is car number 14, Kenny Kibbe. My goodness, if he can avoid early trouble, this guy will get a win. Kenny, that was fun to watch, man. I know you got third, but it was a fun third, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was frustrating at times. I mean, it was, I was kind of driving angry there after that wreck I was caught up in, but yeah, it was really fun trying to, figure out how to pass everybody because it's so difficult here. And, just trying to figure out the right line and take enough space, but not too much, and just commit to everything. And pretty much left it all out on the racetrack. I had nothing left afterwards.
It was really fun to watch you work the traffic. There were some times we thought maybe you could go down low, but they were lined up on top that if you didn't, you're not going to be able to pass 4 cars in a row, so you kind of had to bide your time, get them one at a time when the opportunity was there. There were times when you were stuck on the outside, you had to pin people down. It was really fun to watch you work the table.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the show. Yeah, it was just, there was times where, they were too wide in front of me, and I just had to kind of follow the preferred line and get spots that way. And then after that, once we were single filed out, I had to start making some moves. A lot of guys were pretty much just running single file, so I had to be the outlier. I had to try something.
It was fun indeed to watch. It was an impressive third place. Stay out of trouble and give J.R. Shepherd a run for his money one of these times if you never have a clean car at the end of the race. Good job.
Yeah, for sure. And just real quick before I get out, congratulations to JR and Jeffrey. They were pretty much class of the field tonight. And thanks to you guys for the broadcast as always. Thanks to everybody who likes to watch at home and watch me on Twitch on these races. And thanks everybody at BRL bringing these 20-plus car fields every night.
You got it indeed. Kenny Kibbe put on the show. Third place finish tonight. Well done. Well, with that said, we're going to wrap this thing up. But before we do, we hope you liked this broadcast. If you did, we're going to do it again next Saturday as my producer's going to put the right up there. Where are we going to be? Well, we're going to Myrtle Beach where they have the snapping turtles. That'll be fun. But before then, how about some road racing? We got the Europeans coming over to America to race at Sebring. You don't want to miss that. It's the Andy Morgan Cup. It's going to be sports car racing at Sebring, one of the bumpiest tracks you'll find on the iRacing service. We'll put on a good show. Why don't you tune on in tomorrow, Sunday morning, and catch that one. Those races, the ones coming up and the ones we've already done, are all productions of the Virtual Group Network. With that said, I'm going to go into the closet. I see no hat here, so I'm just going to come out and say I'll try to have a script next time for a better opening. Until then, have fun storming the castle.